name's Laura. Welcome to our online Pilates session. Let's start with our postural setup and mobility. So we can take the feet together and then turn the toes out to about 10 to 2 and then the heels out so the feet are just underneath the hips. You can turn them out a little bit more if you need to. Soften into the knees, lift and lengthen through the spine. You can imagine a string coming from the top of our head and drawing us up towards the ceiling, lifting and lengthening into the spine. And then from there, just roll the shoulders up, back and down in towards the spine to bring some stability into the mid and upper back. We should also feel like we've opened up into the chest. Now with the pelvis, we imagine that as a bowl of water, full to the brim, and it's level. And when the pelvis is in neutral, we try not to spill a drop of that water. But this may not be comfortable for everyone. So if you need to, just tilt the pelvis forward and back a few times until you settle on a position where it feels right for you. So it's either going to be neutral or as close to neutral as we can achieve. And then to engage the core, we use two visualizations. One is a zip running from pubic bone up to navel, and this is going to connect into the pelvic floor. So we draw in and up on the zip all the way to the top, and it feels quite tight. So we release halfway and then a little bit more, so the zip is done a third of the way up and we've got a light connection into the pelvic floor. Now to engage the transverse abdominis muscle, we want to imagine a wide belt running around our midsection, and it's got 10 notches on it. So we draw into the 10th notch, feels quite tight again, so we release to the 5th and then to the 3rd, so we've now got a light connection in the body's natural corset. And now we just take a few shoulder rolls to mobilize into the shoulders. So we're just going to draw the shoulders up, back and around, just to release any tension from the shoulders or the neck. We'll do 2 more of these. And then lastly, just drawing the shoulders up, back and down and back in towards the spine. And then from there, we're just going to gently turn the head towards the right, back through the center, and then towards the left. Inhaling as you come through the center, and then exhaling as you take the head towards the side. Inhaling through the nose, and exhaling through the mouth. And we're just going to do 2 more of these to each side, maybe looking towards the shoulder, or if you've got good mobility through the neck, maybe starting to look over the shoulder. And this will be our last one. And then we'll bring the head back through the center. Into inhale. As we exhale, float the fingertips onto the shoulders. We're now going to draw small circles with the elbows. Inhaling and exhaling. So a circle with the elbows starting to create a bigger circle now. Becomes bigger. Stabilizing into the pelvis. We've still got that little pinch between the shoulder blades. And now the circle is as big as it can be. 1 more in this direction, and then we're going to reverse. Start with a big circle, and then start to make it slightly smaller, and then smaller, and smaller, and then eventually the elbows come to a stop. We're going to inhale. Now as we exhale, big sweep round with the arms, creating a windmill shape. Really stretching through to the fingertips, and now getting the shoulder muscles warmed up as well as mobilizing into the shoulders. We'll just do that 1 more time. And then lastly, the shoulders slide back and down, the arms come down by our sides. We're going to inhale as we reach over to the side, and exhale as we lift up and over the top, softening into the knees again. Inhale, exhale, same to the other side. Reach, palm up, and then left over. So our aim here is to really lengthen into the waist, but at the same time stabilizing into the pelvis, and just a light pressure into the feet, to the heels and into the balls. And just think about the arms being light, so we're creating a sensation of the arms just floating. We'll do this 1 more time. to each side. So just checking in again with the connection into the core and also into the breath. So this will be our last one. The arm is going to float down by our side, and then we inhale. And as we exhale, float the arms up to about chest height. Fingers pointing forward, thumb on top, palms in. We're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we draw the right elbow back. We inhale, float the arm forward. Exhale, draw the left elbow back. Now we want to add some rotation. So we're just going to rotate the upper torso towards the side, keeping the hips pointing directly forwards. So we're mobilizing the thoracic area of the spine, the midsection where it attaches to the rib cage. So there's not a lot of movement here. And really the main thing we need to do is keep the hips pointing directly forwards. And it helps if we soften our knees. We've got one more of these to each side. So looking towards the elbow, the eye line. And then lastly, the arms are going to float down by our sides. We're going to inhale, take the hips back and down, float the arms to about chest height, and then exhale to stand tall. Inhale, and then exhale. So we're now mobilizing into the hips, knees and ankles and warming up the big muscles in the legs. You can, if you wish, start to float your arms a little higher, but making sure that the shoulders stay stabilized back and down and the chest stays lifted. So we're sitting the weight back and down into the heels so the toes are light. And then as we stand, push through the heels to stand, but keep the knees soft at the top of the range of movement. So we're going to do up to 4 more of these. Just aligning the knees with the middle of the foot, engaging into the glutes to stand, and making sure the knees stay behind the toes. This is our last one here. And then as we stand, soften into knees, lengthen into the spine. You might just want to shake off the legs, shoulders and the arms here. Then we turn to the side. But with the same starting position, feet under the hips, knees soft, lengthen into the spine, draw the shoulder blades back and down, engage into the core. Inhaling and then exhaling, dropping the chin towards the chest. We're going to roll down through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, relaxing the head, the neck and the arms. And just go as far as you feel you safely can. When we get to the bottom, we're going to inhale. And then as we exhale, we roll up, stacking the spine vertebrae by vertebrae. And the head is the last thing to come up. So we're going to do that up to 4 more times. Inhaling and then exhaling. Keep the knees soft and the pelvis stable. So remember that bowl of water, full to the brim, not spilling a drop. And just like we did with the squat, you want to make sure as we stand, push through the heels to stand, to activate into the back of the legs. And maybe finding a little bit more of a range of movement with each repetition. But listen to your body and just do whatever feels right for you. So we've got 1 more roll down. And this next roll down will take us down to the mat to start our mat section. So at the bottom of the roll down, you want just to relax into the shoulders, nod the head, shake the head. And then we're going to bend the knees. We're just going to walk the hands forward to bring ourselves first of all into a 4-point kneeling position. And then we're going to come down and onto our fronts. So once we're on our fronts, we're going to take the elbows out so that they're in line with the shoulders. And the hand is in line with the elbow. And the legs are about hip distance apart. And first of all, we want to lengthen again into the spine. String coming from the top of our head. The eye line is down towards the mat. And the shoulder blades are stabilised back and down. And the hips are settled on the mat. We've got that engagement into the core. I'm going to inhale. Now as I exhale, I'm going to peel the breastbone off the mat, still looking down, sliding the shoulder blades back and down. I'm going to inhale to lower, and then exhale to lift. So we're going to do this up to 10 times. Repetitions are just there as a guide. Do as many as you feel that you safely can. If you feel like you would like to do a little bit more, we can take the fingertips and just place them lightly on the forehead without the arms actually touching the mat. Exhaling to lift, looking down, and inhaling to lower. So we haven't got the support of the arms now. If you feel any tension in your lower back, just check in that you have still got the core engaged. You may need to engage into the glutes just to lengthen into the lower back. Also, it may be that you're coming up a little bit too high. Everyone's different here. It's not so much just about the height, it's about lengthening into the spine. We've got 2 more. So last one here. And then we're going to rest the head down. Make a pillow for your forehead, one hand on top of the other, and rest the forehead on the hands. Now let's take the legs, just lengthen them a little. Everything else is the same. We've only just changed the position of the hands. Now we're going to do some single leg lifts to start with, taking it into double leg lifts. So we'll start with an inhale to prepare. Exhale, and then lift and lengthen one leg. Straight, so no bend in the knee, hips in contact with the mat. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift the other leg. So we're lifting and lengthening the legs. Engagement into the core, and now engagement into the glutes. We're aiming for up to 7 of those on each leg. So aim the back of the thigh up towards the ceiling to keep the legs straight. If you can feel that you can do more than 7 of these on each leg, and you can maintain quality of movement, then we're going to take both legs up. Both legs up at the same time. Inhaling to lower, exhale to lift. So now engaging into the glutes, pushing the pelvis maybe further into the mat. So we've got 4 more of these. Lengthening into the spine so the upper body is not completely relaxed. After our last one, we're going to place the hands by our side. We're going to inhale and exhale and push ourselves back into a child's pose position. So just allow the bum to rest on the heels, relax the head towards the mat, and the chest and the rib cage are just resting onto the thighs. We've now got a combination where we're going to do a roll through from the child's pose into a tricep push-up position. So start with an inhale, And as we exhale, we come up. Relax the head and neck, so a bit like a cat stretch, and then we come through and into a tricep push-up, so the chest comes between the elbows. Push back, child's pose. Inhale. And then exhale, roll up, roll through, coming into the tricep push-up position. We're going to do that up to 10 times. Inhale. And then exhale, relaxing the head and neck. So it becomes like an active recovery to start with. Spreading the fingers to take pressure off the wrists. Keeping the spine long. And remember that the repetitions are only there as a guide. You're halfway. Try and get that rippling effect coming through the center. And if you need to, you can reduce the range of movement and just do a partial tricep push-up. So we're working strongly into the arms now, back of the arms and into the shoulders. 2 more. Rhythm with the breath, oxygen into the muscles. So this is our last one. Then we can push back into child's pose position and just relax the arms by our side and relax the head. Just for a moment. And then when you're ready, inhale, exhale, come up. We're now going to come on to our side for our side series of exercises. We're going to start with a static side kick. Just want to lay ourselves down on the mat in a straight line. Support your head on your arm, and if you feel that you need to, you can place something else between your head and your arm. So let's line ourselves up with the edge of the mat so the body's in a straight line. If you feel a bit wobbly here, you can take this top hand and just place it in front of you, or if you need to, you can bend that bottom leg. So with the legs in line with the torso, might just look down, you should be able to see your toes without moving your head. So we've got stability in the shoulders, we've got the hips stacked one on top of the other, got the core engaged, and the free arm, if it's resting on the body, just on the top of that thigh. Engaging into the core, inhaling, exhaling, we're going to float the top leg up just to about hip height. And then we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, lift the bottom leg up to join it, so the legs are lengthened and lifted. You can just hold this position for up to 10 breaths, or we can lift and lower the top leg. So we've got the lying side kick, up and down. Inhale, exhale, flex the top foot, lift the leg up, and then relax the foot, inhaling, bringing the leg back down again. Up to 10 of these, flexing to lift, and then pointing or gently relaxing the foot to lower. So you want to make sure that nothing else moves except that top leg. So the bottom leg is lifted and lengthened. And you're using the outside of the hip and the outside of the thigh to lift the top leg. Halfway. So you should feel a feeling of slight fatigue coming into the outside of the hip and thigh. Spine is long, core is engaged. We've got 2 more of these. Well done. This is our last one. And then to release, we lower the bottom leg, the top leg, bend the knees, and release into the hips. And just push up and onto this side, so we bring our elbow now underneath the shoulder. We take the legs straight out, back in line with the torso again. We've got that openness in the chest. And then we bend the bottom knee. And then from there, we're going to lift up, placing that top leg back down, back in line with the body. We're going to inhale and exhale and lift up, pushing into that forearm, the elbow directly under the shoulder. We're going to inhale and exhale and reach the top arm up so it reaches straight up towards the ceiling. So we're not leaning forwards or back. The chest is open, shoulders are stabilized back and down. Got engagement into the core. We're now working deeply into the waist. We're going to inhale. As we exhale, lift the top leg to about hip height. And then from there, we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to reach the arm up and over. We're just going to hold this. Nothing is moving. Just holding this for up to 10 breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And at any time you need to, you can change position. So you can make it slightly easier by bringing that foot back down, back in contact with the mat, or holding it up. So think about lengthening through the arm, all the way to the foot. Now we're working now into the underside of the hip. 2 more breaths, inhale, exhale. And then from there, we're going to release the foot down onto the hip, release, up, come up onto the hip, maybe roll up through the shoulder. And then we're just going to switch onto the other side. So we're going to start with a static side kick position again. With that length, we've got the stability. We've got the hips stacked one on top of each other, and one side is different to the other. And if you need to, you can place that hand down. So just check that you can see your toes, that we're not in a banana shape. We're not allowing the hips to roll forwards or back. Inhale, exhale, top leg lifts. Inhale, exhale, bottom leg lifts. And again, your choice, you can just hold this strength with stillness, or we inhale and we exhale, we flex and lift the leg. Inhale, you can gently point or just keep your foot in a neutral position. Up to 10. Starting to feel now the muscles working outside of the hip, outside of the thigh. Remember that bottom leg, we need to be maintaining the height and the length. We've got 2 more after this one. And then we're going to release bottom leg, top leg, bend the knees, push yourself up, bring the elbow under the shoulder and the legs back out again in line with the torso. Bending the bottom leg, taking the top foot back down again, opening the chest, engaging into the core. Inhale and exhale and lift up. Remember, you can stay here, just checking the alignment again, fingertips point to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, lift the top leg. And then you can either stay here or we lengthen the arm up and over. Draw the shoulder blade back down. We're just going to hold this now for another 7 or up to 7 breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Working into the core. Also that supporting shoulder, but the more we engage into the core, the less pressure we're going to have in that shoulder. Try and think about the length, fingertips through to the foot. We've just got 3 more breaths here. Strength coming from the stillness. Last breath. And start to release the foot and the arm. Come down onto the hip. Lift up and release into the shoulder. And then we're going to come onto our back. So just bringing ourselves safely rolling down onto our backs. We've got our feet hip distance apart. And the knees in line with the feet. And the arms are relaxed by our sides. So our first time in this position, we want to get back to that string coming through the top of our head, drawing us towards the wall. Shoulder blades sliding back and down, stabilizing into the shoulders. And now we imagine the pelvis as a triangle. Hip base runs from hip to hip, points towards the pubic bone. I mean, ideally we want to get that triangle completely flat. But that doesn't work for everyone, so it might be putting some pressure onto your lower backs, particularly in the lumbar curve. So we've either got the neutral position or the imprinted position. And imprinted is where we can take an imaginary grape, place it under our lumbar curve, and then we're just putting enough pressure down through the lumbar curve to squash that grape. Slightly tilting the pelvis. So that would be our imprinted position. So we're either going to be flat or imprinted. So we need to get the pelvis stabilized in position before we engage the core. So we've got the zip, third of the way up, belt to the third notch. And then from there, we're going to turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And maybe that's rotated the shoulders back and down a little bit more. So we've got the length, stability, engagement into the core. We're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we just peel the head and shoulders off the mat, looking towards the knees, and maybe reaching the fingertips towards the heels. And then we're going to inhale to lower, exhale to lift. We're just going to do up to 7 of these, just to warm up the upper abdominals. Space under the chin, so the neck is in alignment with the spine, and we're looking towards the knees. Of course, if you need to, you can support your head here. So if you need to just support the head, but just be careful not to draw down on the chin towards the chest. Now after the next one, you can relax and release, or we're going to hold the next one up. Holding it up, inhale. And then exhale, now reach the hand towards the heel. So we're closing down the ribcage again. Inhale back through center. Exhale, inhale. So on one side of the body, the ribcage opening up. On the other side, we're drawing the bottom rib down towards the hip. We're aiming for 2 more of these on each side. So head in a neutral position. Pelvis stable. So this is our last one. Come back to the center, release the arms down, roll the head and shoulders down, and then from here just maintaining that original setup position. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, float one knee up. So the knee in a neutral position will be directly above the hip, 90-degree angle at the knee, shin parallel with the floor. So stabilize here so the pelvis doesn't move. If you're in neutral and you think you need to go into imprint for this, then please feel free to do that. Otherwise, we're going to inhale and exhale and float the other legs up. And then from here, with that stability in the pelvis, we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, tap the toe towards the mat and onto the mat lightly. Inhale to lift. We'll do the same on the other side. So hinging at the hip, but maintaining the angle at the knee. You can either stay with this, just a toe tap, a light tap on the mat, or you can start to extend the leg away to about 45 degrees to start with, maintaining the stability in the pelvis. Or you could take the leg a little bit longer, a little bit lower, but just checking that the pelvis hasn't moved, so we've still got the stability of the pelvis and the spine. We've got 1 more of these to each side, but remember to stop at any point if you need to. And now to release, we're going to float one leg down and then the other. And just to release at the hips, we're just going to straighten the legs. Just allow the hip flexors to relax. And then we're going to set it back up again. Feet hip distance apart. Knees in line with feet. Arms relaxed by our sides. Back into the controlled tabletop position again. So lengthening, stabilizing, engaging into the core. Inhale, exhale, float one leg up. Inhale, exhale, float the other leg up. Now this time we're going to take the fingertips to the temples, or we're going to support the head. We're going to do what's called in Pilates is the crisscross for the upper abdominals and the muscles in the waist. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we lift up, we extend the opposite leg and take the shoulder towards the knee. Inhale back through center, lower the head and shoulders down. Exhale and do the same on the other side. We're aiming for up to 10 of these on each side. So remember as well, you don't have to extend the leg. You can tap the toe. You can even have your feet safely back onto the mat. So let's think about keeping the hips absolutely still, pointing up towards the ceiling. Keeping the chest open and the elbows wide. So we're trying to cross the midline of the body, really work into the muscles in the waist. But just checking that you're taking the shoulder towards the opposite knee and not the elbow. And we've just got one more of these to each side. And everyone, don't just want to collapse. We lower the head and shoulders down, float the arms down, one leg and then the other, and just lengthen out the legs again just to release into the hips. And take a full body stretch if you feel you need one. Then we're going to reset in exactly the same position. Feet hip distance, knees back in line, spine lengthened, shoulders stable, pelvis stable, and core engaged. We're just going to do a few shoulder bridges. We're going to inhale, exhale, peel off the mat, coming up onto the shoulder blades, and then inhale and exhale and lower all the way down. Coming back down, back into your neutral or imprinted position. If you need to, you can reduce the range of movement here. But in the shoulder bridge at the top, we really want to maintain that shoulder and hip alignment. So we should always be able to see the top of our knees in the shoulder bridge. Then we want to push up through the heels to activate the back of the legs. So the core is engaged. We're mobilizing into the spine, so we're getting some active recovery, particularly for the hips and the upper abdominals. So let's just do that one more time. Light connection into the glutes, and then release all the way down vertebrae by vertebrae. And from here we can just gently draw the knees in towards the chest. That feels comfortable. If not, just relax. And now we're going to go into a single leg shoulder bridge, which is great for strengthening into the glutes. So reset, exactly the same position. If you're more comfortable with the double leg shoulder bridge, then that's okay just to stick with that. So reset, strong foundation, engagement into the core. We're going to inhale, exhale up into the top of the shoulder bridge. So maintaining the stability here, we're going to inhale and exhale and just float one knee up, tabletop position, knee above the hip, 90-degree angle at the knee. And then we're going to inhale and float that leg back down again. And exhale and roll all the way down. Inhale, exhale, come up, and we'll do the same on the other side. Start off just with the bend in the knee, so reducing the length of the leg. Float the leg back down, and then roll back down again, vertebrae by vertebrae. Now we can stay with that tabletop position, or we float the leg up and then we extend the leg. We're trying to get that leg directly above the hip. And then from here, bend the knee and float it back down again. So we're doing this after this one up to 3 more times on each side. Now you can stay up, you don't have to come back down again. So we could stay up in the shoulder bridge, floating the leg up, bending the knee, floating it back down again, and we just go straight up to the other side, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, maintaining the height in the pelvis, engaging into the glutes, space under the chin, so we're not scrunching up into the neck, using the arms for a light support. This will be the last one on this side. And then from here, we're going to roll all the way back down again. If you need to, feet and knees together, arms up by our side. We're going to inhale. As you exhale, just take the knees to one side and look in the opposite direction. Inhale, exhale. Just a couple to each side. And then for our last exercise, we've got the Pilates 100. So we're going to bring the knees back through the centre, arms back by our side, feet hip distance apart. Start to think about lengthening back into the spine again. Knees directly in line with the feet. Stability in the pelvis, engagement into the core. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, float one leg up, control tabletop position. Inhale, exhale, float the other leg up. And now from here, we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, peel the head and shoulders off the mat, and the arms are just going to float up. We're going to inhale. And then as we exhale, 5 small beats through the arms. Inhale, 5 small beats through the arms. Exhale, 5 small beats. So we can just hold this up to 100 beats. Or if you'd like to do a little bit more, you can extend the legs directly above the hip. Nothing else is moved. Space under the chin, looking towards the knees to keep the neck in alignment with the spine. So we can just hold this, or we can lower the legs and then lift the legs. So 5 beats to lift and lower the legs. Maintain that stability into the pelvis. Shoulders back and down, away from the ears. We're getting on for nearly 100 beats now. So maybe just one more leg lower and lift. And then we're going to bring the legs back to tabletop position. We're going to stop the movement in the arms and lower the head and shoulders down. And then float one leg down and then the other. Lengthen the legs out. Take the arms behind the head into a full body stretch. Lengthening from the fingertips through to the toes. And then carefully release the arms down. Walk the feet in. And then from there, just draw the knees in towards the chest. We can gently release the spine forward and back, or maybe side to side. Just releasing into the lower back. And then place one foot down. Draw the other knee in towards the chest, and inhale and exhale, extend the leg up to stretch into the hamstrings. So you want to hold on above or below the knee. And with the other leg, that can stay bent, or you can straighten it out. Inhale, exhale, and just draw the leg gently in to stretch the back of the thigh, keeping the tailbone in contact with the mat. Now if you feel that muscle relax, inhale, Exhale, maybe draw it in a little bit closer. Just relaxing into the head and shoulders. And then just carefully release. You're going to place that foot onto the other thigh. You can either just put gentle pressure on the inside of the knee to open up into the hip, or we're going to lift the foot, reach through, take hold of the back of the thigh to draw the leg gently in, to stretch more around the outside of the hip, but really wherever your muscles are tightest. And try to relax the upper body, but just maintain that light engagement into the core, even when we're stretching. Just place that foot back down, and then switch to the other side. Knee in towards the chest. Inhale, exhale, extend the leg, and again hold on to the calf or the thigh. Try to relax the leg so it becomes light. And if you feel the muscles start to relax after the initial stretch, inhale, exhale, draw the leg in a little bit closer. Again, just making sure that the tailbone stays in contact with the mat. And then release carefully. Place the foot on the thigh. Gentle pressure on the inside of the knee to open up the hip, or lift the foot, reach through, draw the leg in. Just feeling that stretch wherever your muscles are tightest. Just breathing now normally and fully. And carefully release. Place that foot down, rolling over onto our side to bring ourselves onto our knees. Taking the knees wide, push the bum back towards the heels and take the arms in front. We're going to inhale. As we exhale, drop the chest, rib cage, head down towards the mat into the child's pose stretch. Just feeling the stretch maybe into the top of the chest, front of the shoulders, or maybe around the hips or thighs. At least halfway up. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, thread one arm under with the palm on top, palm facing up. Drop back down again onto the shoulder, and if you can, just relaxing your head down onto the mat. Release, we do the same on the other side. Thread the arm under, palm up, drop down. Relax the head. So we're getting a stretch into the back of the shoulder here. And then carefully release. We're going to come into a 4-point kneeling position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to inhale to lift the chin and lift the tailbone. And then exhale, tuck the chin and tuck the tailbone into the cat stretch. So we're going to inhale to cow and exhale to cat. So trying to push the chest and the ribcage down to the mat. And then arching the back, relaxing the head and neck. So we're now massaging the spine, stretching the muscles and attachments on the inside and the outside of the spine. And after this, we'll just do one more of these each. Finishing in a neutral position. And to come up to standing, you can find your own way to come up to standing, or we can tuck the toes under. Walk the hands back, pushing ourselves into a crouch position. And then from here, we're just going to inhale. And as we exhale, land the heels and lift the tailbone and the hips. Relax the head and neck. And then inhale, and exhale. For one last time, we're going to roll up, stacking the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, and the head will be the last thing to come up. So that's the end of our session today. Hopefully you found that useful, and thank you so much for joining me.